Black men are the entire spectrum of life, one end to the other. I am a black man because I am unafraid to live inside of that spectrum and to experience it wholeheartedly.
What makes a black man a black man?
And that, I think, first and foremost, for us, we have to look at our history. And I know in certain circles there's recently been a movement to try to like denounce slavery and to say that it either didn't exist for some random reason or to remove it from the psyche when you can't. I think that historical education needs to definitely be brought back for this generation in order for them to understand the weight of what it does mean to be a black man, in that we are carrying an entirely different set of rules, essentially. When we go into any given situation, automatically we are judged and perceived any number of ways. For these younger brothers, especially some of the cats that I've seen recently, they are really at that point where they're trying to form that right now. We had a festival not too long ago, July 10th at the UIC Pavilion. We gathered 8,000 youth from around the country together, a large number of whom came from Chicago. And there were people working on the South Side who went up to the gang leaders and were like, yo, we're doing this festival. You need to bring your kids out. It's gonna change their life. It gives them a different outlook on what they can possibly be doing with their lives. This one guy in his mid-20s or so said, you know, I can't come. I cannot come. It's not for me. I won't do it. You know, potentially he could lose his life if he were to do something like that over some foolishness. And in turn, what he did do was sponsor a host of other children to go. So in that instance, he is their role model. And for him to turn around and to create a situation for them to step outside of their given circumstances and see the world from a completely different perspective, he is, in that instance, the magical Negro. You know, he gives them the idea of what masculinity is. They've only witnessed him before being a thug or something that, you know, is traditionally not seen as positive. But then in this moment, he flips all of that and changes their lives by giving them an opportunity to step outside of all of that.
What does society tell us that masculinity for us is?
It is the, you know, it's the guy with his shirt off, extraordinarily like cut and standing there in the you know, I'm thinking back to when I was a kid, like the Ducads. You know what I'm saying? He flipping through the ebony, there's a dude standing there, his hair is done. Why ain't got a shirt on? Like, you know, it's Billy D. Williams of that early '80s period too, Code 45. You know what I'm saying? It's that extra smooth brother. It's Shaft. It's Chef from South Park. It's all of these different images that constantly berate us with this idea that black men are supposed to be virile and strong and essentially worker bees. You know, like the Donnie song says, big black buck. I tried once a long time ago to live with someone and kind of do the whole like, oh, you take care of the bills, I'll just be here. Tried that, hated it. Couldn't do it because as a man, you know, I couldn't sit back on my laurels and let someone else work for what I needed to be doing. The struggle of, you know, finding your way in this world that's also how we're socialized as men in general, black, white, or otherwise. There's a part of you that knows that what you want, and I'm not the person that was able to sit back and just be like, okay, you do that. I was never able to accept that, and I don't know very many of my friends who were able to do that either, because everybody wants what they want specifically and how they want it. Even people who are in that situation are not generally happy, trying to play another role, as it were.
If you're a black man and you have a perceived, and you have a problem with femininity in men,
Mm-hmm.
you may have a problem with femininity in general.
Right.
And that loudly speaks to our relationship with our sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like you to touch on, if you could, you know, what that concept for men of femininity really means, what it does, and the difference it creates when you see femininity in a man and when you see it in a woman.
Okay. This was a long time coming for me to have the ability to walk out the house rocking earrings, period. That same idea of having an issue with femininity, I experienced it firsthand. I grew up in a household where it was my mother, my 2 older sisters, and then I have 5 other sisters on my father's side. I'm the only boy in that generation. And at the same token, I always felt like I was being, I don't know if oppressed is the right word, because it's not. It's not oppression, but I wasn't allowed to just be a guy and do guy stuff all the time, because there were so many women around and there was no male influence directly in my household. It took me a long time to realize that I had issues personally with women.